Hi. So I'm sitting here relaxing, breathing as I finish some work and some admin stuff that I will never get paid for. But I do because I do love what I do. Even though it's a lot of work, my background is social work. And that is the hardest field that I ever never imagined to be in. That was in my original background. I grew up in Texas. I was in a little bubble, didn't really do much, didn't really go anywhere. Hispanic family, didn't really know my background. We talked about it, and some things were laughed at, like when my grandfather would talk about our native background. They were like dismissive, and I always wondered why. Like, why can't we talk about it? Why? I had a lot of whys, but I had a lot of doors, and they weren't opening. A lot of people dismissing and laughing, and I always just wondered why. I had this deep yearning. And so, with my life, if I could share my story momentarily, it was not easy. And a lot of us were programmed in society. A lot of brown people, with my experience now, speaking from that level, was that we had to put up with shit, mistreatment, hardships. And I believe it's for the reasons of making money and staying working, right? We weren't supported enough. Like, hey, let's talk about real family. Let's talk about how we can support our families in the world. Moms having babies, making sure we follow up with the babies, making sure moms have enough time off, making sure dads have enough time off. Like, there's some support or no support depending on the job, right? Here in the US. There's a lot of things that I've learned and still learning, because I'm always learning as I evolve. And I'm just like digging and digging. Anyways, so with that being said, we are programmed to work, right? So that we can work for the CEOs that make 80 times, maybe more than the very lowest person working, right? The CEO. And so, a lot of parents, that's all they can do, minimal. Especially if they're a single parent, there's no extra bandwidth, there's no extra support. Sometimes there's family, but family is inconsistent as well, maybe because they're also tired. It could be that, who knows, right? But we don't have enough support. And this leads me to hear, like, the conversations that are coming up now with colonization, with who we are, with who we were originally meant to be when we were brought into this world at the beginning. And it's not 100% with the Bible, right? Yes, it's not. There's life before Bible. There's life before that. And don't you want to know what that is? If you want to start at the Bible, you can, right? How were we supported? When did it start getting twisted and negative, and people killing other people to gain other people's land? And that, to me, doesn't seem godly. And it just started getting worse, and now it's just compiling, and it's stressful, and we're all carrying it. And let's have these conversations, these things that we feel inside our body that are so unknown and heavy, right? And we try to push off, and some people shut down, and they are unable to move, right? Their nervous system just doesn't let them move, doesn't let them get out of bed. Some people maybe become more dysregulated towards doing and not being able to stop until there's nothing else, and then you drop and you do it again. And how long can you do all of that, right? Before your body just quits or gets sick. That's not normal. So I'm just making a video just talking about thoughts, videos that I've seen, conversations that I've had. Not everybody wants to talk about everything, right? Yeah, politics and news and all that crap is in your face, and music and movies, but why don't we talk about the real stuff? Who we are, what our ancestors did, how we came to be, how we can heal, how we can support each other, how we can stop hurting each other, how we can be more honest, how we can be more empathetic towards life. I'm talking about life, earth, animals, your own body. Just talking about my thoughts. And I did start off with my story, but I'm not gonna end up finishing the story now. It's been 6 minutes. I'm looking at the time. But I detached very young because of just the instability that I encountered and the lack of support, not just with family, but it goes deeper than that. I left when I was 16. It was really rough. Married somebody in the military. Didn't know what I was doing. They didn't know what they were doing. And it was just an adventure. Looking at it now in this point of view, an adventure. But then it was trauma. It was chaos. It was like magic, not all good. Definitely has molded me and has built me to where I am now. I've been through so much, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is the best way to help? What is the best way to help my community? And yeah, I'm still healing, and a lot of times I do still experience my triggers, but I know how to cope. I know how to help myself. I know how to ask for help. And I'm so tired of all this other stuff that doesn't feel good. And sometimes we carry it in our body, and it's been in our body, from generations past. Like, if research, if you look up, right, epigenetics, we carry at least 7 generations of, cells and traumas and memories within our own bodies, and probably more. There's still research going on. But a lot of the stuff that we feel and experience and do and violate and lie, and it's because of patterns that have been unspoken, have been unprocessed, have been untapped, because it's scary, because it feels weird, because your body carries it and you try to avoid it, and then your body shifts, moves, and there's so much going on there. Anyways, I hope you have a good day, and maybe you can add to this conversation. Not sure.